So, welcome to my new, I guess segment, is that the word I'm looking for? It's basically going to be a new thing. I'm starting a secondary channel. Obviously, that's not like the whole crux of this. This particular thing is going to be called Commentary and a Beat. It was suggested by one of my friends, a very, very special follower, so thank you to her for suggesting this idea. Basically, it's where I'm going to talk about, like, stuff on my mind and do my makeup at the same time. So it's like a get ready with me, except commentary style. I've been wanting to do more get ready with me videos, so this gives me the excuse, and of course, I have a lot of shit to talk all the time. So, oh God, I promised myself I was never going to talk about this woman again, but tell me why. We are here again, and JK Rowling, once again, is starting some shit, pissing me off. Just really, I don't understand what is going through her mind, why she feels the need to talk about us yet again. It seems like I cannot go a single day without JK Rowling saying something about trans people. It's truly unbelievable. And, excuse me. And, the thing is, for me, like, I'm just trying to figure out, like, what possible motivation does she have at this point? Because it seems to me, I mean, she made a whole point of saying, like, I studied trans people, like, I understand your plight or some shit, whatever the fuck she said. It was all a bullshit lie. But to say that you understand trans people or you studied us like we're some kind of science experiment, like, that's its own thing. But, like, to say that, but then turn around and constantly throw us under the bus, treat us like shit, do things that will harm us, proves to me you don't understand trans people at all. Excuse me, I am sweating. I have to turn on this fan. It's gonna be a little loud, but oh well. Maybe I should turn it away from this microphone. But, like, I truly don't understand what is the motive here at this point? You know what I mean? Like, I have to assume, like, if you say you understand trans people and like, what we go through or whatever, kind of bullshit she wants to spout this week, then what you're saying is harmful. You know that putting out a book where your protagonist is a cross-dresser or transvestite, whatever word you want to use that makes it better, which it doesn't, but, like, okay. What harm that can do to people. And, like, I'm sure there are some people who are going to try and argue with me, like, oh, there's a difference between trans people and cross-dressers. And yes, there is. But the people who wish to do us harm don't care that there's a difference between trans people and cross-dressers. They don't care that they're not the same thing. And, like, when you paint us as the villain and the perpetrator of a violent crime, rather than as someone who studied us should know, the victim of violent crimes, you're perpetrating harm against us continuously. It doesn't stop with her, and I cannot fathom what her deal is anymore and why she continues to do this kind of thing. Like, it's truly mind-boggling at this point what she's getting out of this. Like, she has to know this is going to cause harm to actual people, that this type of story is going to lead to harm to trans individuals, and I have to assume that she knows that and either accepts it as, like, the price you pay for a story or actively wants it. And I think, being the turf that she is it's the latter. And that's a scary prospect, because I think a lot of people don't want to acknowledge how far down this rabbit hole she's gone and how bad this is and how dangerous it is. People don't want to acknowledge it because it's not convenient and it doesn't allow them to enjoy their favorite story. Which, like, this was my favorite story too. You don't think I'm upset about this? You don't think I'm devastated about this situation? Like, yeah. It's, every time I think about it, it is frustrating. It is exhausting to be in this situation where my life is basically a joke to this woman. It means nothing to her if something were to happen to me or another trans person. She doesn't give a shit. She's not going to lose sleep at night because of it. And that's horrifying. And look, you don't have to care, but don't sit there and pretend like you care about children or you care about this or that when you clearly don't care about people who are actually affected by what you're saying. And it's just so unfortunate because it's like, she doesn't have to do this. Nobody asked for this. Nobody wants this. And that her publisher thought it was acceptable to publish this type of book and didn't, like, I don't know, ask a trans person or something if this was okay, tells me they're just as culpable. They don't care. They're not going to say no to her, which is just, like, horrifying in and of itself. Like, you have to take this shit seriously. You have to understand that trans people's lives are at stake here. It's not some fucking game. You know what I mean? And I'm just so disgusted and horrified and, like, I mean, I've come to the determination that the publishers who said no to her were clearly on the right track. Like, a lot of people joked for years, like, oh, I bet they were fired, but now they're like, huh? Bet you wish you'd listened to me, fucker. And yes, I do. I wish I'd listened to myself when I almost didn't read the books all so many years ago. I wish a lot of things. Like, you know, I don't regret my reading the books. I don't regret how much I loved the books. What I am disappointed by is just the person that she is. That's what it is. I'm disappointed by the person that she is, what she thinks is acceptable, you know, the kind of actions she's taking right now. I think they're harmful. And again, this means nothing to her. She's not going to see this. She doesn't care, even if she did see it. She clearly has drawn the line in the sand about this issue, and nothing and no one is going to change her mind about it. And I hope to God none of her kids are ever trans. That's all I have to say about that. You know, because I don't think any child should have to put up with, you know, what she's done. And of course there are plenty of children who do deal with that, and that's tragic. Like, it's disgusting. But, you know, I would hate to see more children have to deal with that. You know what I mean? Like, I think you should just let people live their goddamn lives, be who the fuck they are. It doesn't affect you. That's the thing that kills me the most. The thing that, like, just completely throws me for a loop and just drives me up the wall is this shit doesn't affect her. She wants to play the victim and claim, like, oh, I'm just worried about children, or I'm just worried about this, I'm just worried about... No, you don't care. Don't pretend like you care. Don't pretend like you understand. Don't pretend like you give a shit. Just please leave trans people alone. Please, that's all we ask at this point. Oops, I'm spilling my makeup all over the place. At this point, the least we can ask is just leave us alone. If you don't like us, fine, but just go the fuck away. You know, you don't have to spend the next 20 years of your life campaigning against trans people. You really don't. You can have a hobby. You can do things with your life. You're a famous author. Do whatever the fuck you want, but leave trans people alone. You know, it's not a lot to ask. I don't come into your life fucking it up and talking shit about you every day, just when I make these videos. But, you know, you started it. You came for, you know, the trans community and expect us to just sit silently by and be like, well, this is okay, because she's only speaking truth. No, she's fucking not. She's making shit up. She has no idea what she's talking about. She's allowing fucking right-wing lunatics to groom people. You know, you want to pretend to be concerned about children. You might be concerned about the fact that TERFs are actively grooming young people to A, believe what they believe and come into their fucking TERF cult, but also, God knows what else they're doing to them while they're there, actively like abusing them, manipulating them. You know, for someone who went through all of that herself, and she's very public about her abuse at the hands of her ex-husband, you would think you would spot an abusive organization from a mile away and say, hey, that's fucking wrong. Not join in on the abuse and decide, oh, well, this is clearly okay because it's not happening to fucking me. And that's what the fuck it is. And I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of the bullshit of, you know, pretending to care about children all while actively harming them every fucking chance you get. All of these people who are so up in arms constantly about we need to protect the children, we need to protect the children, will at every available opportunity truly and honestly harm children every possible way they can. You know, you want to protect children until that child is gay. You want to protect children until that child is trans. You want to protect children until it's children in cages. You don't care about children. You care about using them as a prop to make yourself look good and feel good. And you know who's fucking tired of it? Everybody. Especially the fucking children themselves, because they're not being helped by your bullshit. You're just using them to make yourself feel better and to make yourself feel like you've done something with your life. Well, guess what, bitch? In this case, you haven't. You are protecting no one. You're harming people, but you are not protecting anyone. And if anything, people need protecting from you. And that's fucking that. I'm done with this conversation. We're not doing this anymore. I am tired of talking about this woman. I am tired of talking about this issue. I'm not doing it anymore. She has drawn her line in the sand, and you know what? So have I. My line in the sand is your bullshit is, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. And anybody who can still support her after all of this, you don't support me. That's it. If you can still support J.K. Rowling after everything she has said and done, you don't care about me, you don't care about trans people, just don't pretend like you do. I don't want to hear it anymore because you don't fucking care. If you did, you would understand that support of her is active violence against trans people. That's what it is. You cannot support someone who is constantly doing her best to harm trans people and then be like, but I support trans people. No, you fucking don't. You don't support trans people. You support your goddamn self. And that's fine, but be honest about it. You know what I mean? Be honest about it. That's what it is. If you're going to be this type of person who like thinks what she has done is okay, thinks it's, you know, whatever, fine. But be honest about it. I think people need to stop lying about who they are and just be real and be, you know what, I don't fucking care about your life. It doesn't matter to me if something happens to you. I do not care. I will not lose sleep at night. And that's it. Just say it and be done with it. Let's stop pretending like you give a shit about other people because you don't. I'm just so tired of people faking like they give a shit. Like, just say you don't care and move on. It would be much better for everyone involved if you just were honest. Like, don't pretend like you give a shit about me or what happens to me or people like me and then turn around and support her. Because you don't. You don't care what happens to me. You don't care what happens to people like me. You just want a book to read. And like, there's 1,000 other authors out there who are not pieces of shit. Might I recommend Neil Gaiman for one? Like, he's a great author and not an asshole. Who would have thought? I mean, I know that's asking a lot of our creators these days not to be pieces of shit, but like, it happens. It does happen. Some creators are not shitty. And I feel like that's the bare minimum you can ask of a creator at this point. So, moving on from that fuckery, starting a second channel. That was kind of the point of all of this. I am starting a second channel. Very, very excited about that. This will not, I thought this was going to be the first video, but I realized I kind of want this to be on my main channel. I wish I could, I mean, I could do like videos on my main channel and second channel, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna make something else my secondary channel, because I don't really want to talk about, ironically, I don't want to talk about JK Rowling on my second channel. Like, I want that to be a safe space. It's gonna be about fandom and just things going on in the fandom, and as much as she is in that category of things going on in the fandom, I really just don't want to subject more people to that. I think it's enough. I think we're at the point now where we can safely just, enough is enough. Like, we don't need her. I think the time for J.K. Rowling has kind of passed. I think we are, like, past her as a society. I think we're better than this. I think we don't need her anymore. And that's it. And so I'm not going to, what is it Katya said, or Trixie said, I'm not going to Jodie Foster this type of conversation. And that's it. We're done. It's done. Like, it's done. I'm not going to Jodie Foster this type of conversation anymore. We're done. So, second channel, very, very excited. I've been thinking about doing a second channel for a while now. It just never came to fruition for a lot of reasons. Not the least of which was just, it's not that I didn't have time. I just never knew what I wanted to be wanted a second channel to be about. I was always kind of concerned, like, I think I was always kind of concerned about making a second channel being like, you know, is that too much? Am I gonna, like, I don't know. I never was sure if it was the right thing to do. And to be honest, I always kind of put it off as like, well, you know, when the time is right, I'll create a second channel. And then, like I said, one of my friends suggested I make a second channel, or suggested an idea that I thought would be great for a second channel. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to finally do it. I've been thinking about this. I've been hemming and hawing about it. I think this is a sign that it's time to just go through with it and make a second channel. So that's what I'm doing. I'm very excited about it. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's very exciting. It's going to be about fan fiction conversations. I've had so many times people ask me, you know, how do you write this? How do you write this? You know, related questions I've had asked of me over the years as a writer, as a fanfic writer, and someone who's like prolific in the fandom, as it were. And I just feel like it's time for me to finally, like, make those videos. I've been wanting to make those videos for whatever reason. I just haven't been able to get it done. Venture to guess as to why I've just never made it happen, but I mean, the long and short of it is I just haven't ever done it. So now it's just a matter of getting it done and deciding that it's a priority and something that I want to do. And so that's what I'm doing. And I'm very, very excited about it. I've been excited about it for a while now, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Hopefully I will be able to balance everything. Hopefully it will all, you know, work out. But I'm not, like, too worried about it, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm just kind of having fun, doing my thing, whatever I feel like talking about, and that's fandom related. I'm going to try and get, like, people who follow me on, like, my Tumblr and stuff like that to maybe tell me what they would like to see, because obviously I feel like people who follow me for my fanfic writing specifically, they're the people who are going to appreciate conversations about fanfic the most. So I feel like they're the people to ask, like, what would you like to see? What are conversations you want to hear my thoughts on? So that's what I'm doing, and I'm very, very excited. I'll put a link in the description of this video for that second channel. It's live, but there's nothing on it, so you're welcome to subscribe, but there is nothing currently on it. I don't know if this is picking up anything. Does not look like it. Oh, okay, it's picking up a very tiny amount. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. If you like me, tell your friends. If you hate me, tell your enemies. Bye!
Bye.